Hey guys, it's Dan from DisneyInfinityCodes.com, and I have here my Inside Out playset figures, as well as some of my fun little homemade memory orbs. And I've had lots and lots of requests and a lot of compliments. So thank you very much for some of the photos that I've taken, and I like to do little photo shoots with the characters. I think they're fun. I think they're too pretty to not have all this kind of fun, as much fun as you can in taking pictures and whatnot, because these characters are so awesome and so beautifully built. And so I had a great idea. I thought, why not do some fun with some of the memory orbs? And I spent a lot of time trying to figure out the best way to do it, the best way to make them. And now that I have made them all, taken a bunch of fun pictures and shared them on the web, a lot of you got a lot of requests to show for me to show everyone how I made them. And so this is my first little arts and crafts session. So this is Disney Infinity 3.0 Arts and Crafts. Presented by Disney Infinity Codes. That's ridiculous. I'm not going to call it that. But Infinity Arts and Crafts. So here's what's. I'm going to move some of the stuff out of the way here. These marbles are easy to find. They are in all of your local craft stores for the most part. They marbles come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. And interestingly enough, there are two color marbles that match these figures perfectly, and that's yellow and the blue marbles. The blue almost there, kind of perfect with the right filter and contrast and whatnot. It looks like it does match. But these two marbles are actually available in yellow and blue right on the shelves. Otherwise, though, the red, purple, and green marbles are much harder to find, and they can be expensive. They can be a real pain to get a hold of. So you can pick up these right on the shelf at a lot of your local craft stores, and if you can find all the colors, great. But I didn't want to use those like little pearly, like water-filled, like vase fillers, because I didn't want to ruin the white drop and any kind of whenever I was taking pictures, because they get wet, they stain, they can be a little bit of a pain. So I was trying to think of many different ways to color these marbles. And so they make matching marbles in just clear white and just clear glass marbles. And you want to pay close attention. I think these are called peewees, and we'll do a little close up here. But the nice thing about these marbles is that they are almost the exact same size as the memory orb that's on the base. So that's really fun, and a little bit of a coincidence that they matched up so darn perfectly. So I searched far and wide, and they make all kinds of stuff like Mod Podge makes a stained glass. They have stained glass pens and markers, and they've got stained glass paint and all kinds of stuff. And it took me a good long while to finally find something that coated the marbles well without making them all horribly sticky. I don't think I have it handy, but well, maybe I do. Hold on. When you use stuff like the Mod Podge, it can yeah, here we go. I'm just gonna pull up one of my failures at making. So Mod Podge makes a little container of stained glass stuff, and so I was able to kind of try and mess around with and paint things like red and whatnot. But what happened was they got all gooey and they would stick together if they didn't properly dry, and there's no good easy way to. The paint was thick, and you had to coat it multiple times, and it would peel right off of the thing. So I have a lot of failed experiments here, but ultimately what I found was the best was in your local craft stores, in the sections for painting little models, like little model cars, and whatnot. They have these little tiny cans of spray paint. They're spray enamels. And they've got a lot of different colors. You want to look at the cap, and if the cap is see-through, then you know it's a clear enamel. And these worked perfectly. They knocked it right out of the park. And so because I was able to find blue and yellow, I picked up these three colors, the purple, green, and red, for the other emotions that I couldn't find pre-made marbles with. And now to paint these, it gets a little bit tricky and a little bit of a pain. So let me clear this off here, and I'll show you my best tips for painting these marbles. You have to do them in small batches. You can't go nuts and try to do. I mean, you certainly could try to do a whole bunch at a time, but it might drive you a little crazy because it can get a little tedious to paint them. But what I found was, and I just kind of ripped off a little piece to show you, but to use cardboard really makes it easy to paint these guys, and I'll show you why. Because you could just take the marble and then line it up with the pre-perforated, perforated corrugated. Yep, cardboard is corrugated. So use the corrugations and then just kind of push the marble in there, and it'll make a little indent. And I bent this up really good. If you like fold a box out flat, if you have a nice big box, you won't have the problem I'm having right now. But there you go. So push it in, makes a nice little indent that the marble will then sit in for you, and then you can just kind of evenly space them out and kind of make little. It helps if the cardboard is kind of cheap shipping box cardboard, but if you get some, a good thick cardboard box that has a nice little, nice bit of space between the corrugation, it makes it a lot easier. But so you just kind of make those little spots, and then I would line them up like 10 at a time, and then take your spray, and definitely want to do this outside. You don't want to do this indoors, folks, or you'll go nuts. Take the spray and then lightly coat from one angle, and then walk around and coat from the other angle, and then let it dry. I believe that they dry pretty quickly, but let me see here if it says right on the can. It says to let 3 hours, wait 3 hours to recoat. But recoat within 3 hours, or to recoat after 48 hours. So just read the directions. But once you spray them and coat them, so you can kind of see on some of these marbles, like the blue ones that I got pre-made, they do a similar technique to paint these marbles, and that's where you get this little bit of a two-tone thing, because they didn't take the marble and turn it to paint the other side, or the marble didn't get coated in enough paint. So once they're all painted, then pick them up and turn them and flip them. This is where it gets tedious. So you got to flip all the marbles after they properly dry and they're not tacky anymore, and they'll roll all over the place and they'll get all over the place. But once you do that and then do a nice second coat, and you can control based off of how thin or how heavy you put the coat on, how many coats you make. You don't want to go too crazy, because then they'll get so cloudy and you won't even be able to see through them. And then I in all of my cleverness was just I recycled and just took the boxes that I had from the figures when I opened them, and just use them to store the colored marbles in. You just have to make sure that they all stack into each other, and so so that so I have a nice little handy storage. But there's all kinds of fun things you can do with these marbles once they're done. There's all kinds of crafts I've seen online where it features parents having a little memory sharing corners and sharing time, where they'll have jars all lined up, and they'll use colored gumballs and stuff. But this is a great thing for parties and whatnot. Vase fillers, you can use them to have your kid come and say, I had a sad story today, or I had a happy story today, and tell the story and drop one of the colored marbles in a jar, and at the end of the year see how many different emotional stories they had. There's all kinds of fun things you can think of to do, or you can just do what I did and just take a bunch of fun pictures with them. And so the best my other rule about taking pictures is you just want to be a little tedious. You want to take a bunch of pictures from a bunch of different angles, and you want to keep close eye on those marbles, make sure they're all if they're only half painted because you forgot to get a good coat on the second one, make sure that you tweak them and twist them where they need to be twisted so they all look bright and colorful. And then you sort and arrange them. Use your imagination, have a bunch of fun. But yeah, there you go, guys. There is my my little colorful memory orb arts and crafts for Disney Infinity 3.0. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you guys like this, I've got a whole bucket load of arts and crafts that we can go through and fun stuff we can do. So like it, comment it, let me know, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and visit us at DisneyInfinityCodes.com, where there's a full gallery of these awesome characters with all their different emotions. And subscribe, like, comment, do all those things you do on the internet to make me feel loved, because I appreciate it. You guys are the best audience ever. Thank you so much. Have a good day.